Hey Washington Commanders fans, today I've got some exclusive news that's going to get all the fans excited and eager for what's coming up. Before we dive into the discussion, I've got to ask, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Now, let's get to our first news of the day, and remember, there's an exclusive analysis in the second part of this video. To start off, did you know there might be a real battle brewing on the Commanders' practice field? That's right. With the season about to kick off, our team's defense is getting some serious reinforcements, and two rookies are catching everyone's eye. We're talking about Dominique Hampton and Tyler Owens, two safeties with the potential to make history in the NFL. Now the big question is, do they have what it takes to secure a spot on the starting roster? Since the Washington Commanders decided to focus on defense, things have been heating up. With Dan Quinn at the helm, it's clear that the team is determined to strengthen this area at all costs. And that's exactly what we saw during the last offseason, with the addition of new talents through the draft and free agency. What gets me most excited is that Trevor Sikkema, one of the big names at Pro Football Focus, highlighted these two rookies as players to watch in the preseason. They'll debut against the Jets, and that game promises to be a trial by fire. Now, let's talk about our giants in the defensive backfield. Dominique Hampton, drafted in the 5th round, and Tyler Owens, an undrafted free agent, are two players who impress with their physical stature. It's not every day you see safeties with this combination of size and speed. To give you an idea, Hampton stands 6'3" and weighs 218 pounds, while Owens is an incredible 6'6" and 201 pounds. And if you think that's all, just wait until you hear about their speed. Hampton, for example, ran the 40-yard dash in just 4.45 seconds at the NFL Combine. Owens, before suffering an injury, was projected to clock something close to 4.2 seconds in that distance. That's next-level stuff, guys. These numbers put both players in the spotlight, and it's no wonder everyone is eager to see how they'll perform when the season officially starts. As a fan, I'm betting they'll be a real nightmare for opposing offenses. And there's more. Hampton's performance in college gives us a glimpse of what we can expect from him in the NFL. In 2023, he was a true pillar in the University of Washington's defense, participating in 57 games and racking up impressive stats like 109 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 7 pass deflections. If he can bring even half of that performance to our team, we'll be well covered at the safety position. On the other hand, Owens comes with an interesting, though slightly curious story. He was projected to be drafted in the mid to late rounds, but an interview at the NFL Combine raised some eyebrows. It seems Owens has some unconventional beliefs, including a belief in the flat earth theory. Yep, you heard that right. And just like Kyrie Irving in basketball, this statement didn't go unnoticed. Some analysts, like Matt Fitzgerald from Whiskey Riff, believe that these comments may have affected Owens' draft position. It's a delicate topic, and there's that lingering question. Will these beliefs impact his career? Or will all this take a back seat once he's on the field? In the end, what really matters is on-field performance, and that's what we're going to find out soon. As a fan, my expectations are sky high. Hampton and Owens have all the tools to become key players in our defense. And let's be honest, there's nothing more exciting than seeing rookies step up and prove their worth. It's the kind of thing that makes us want to watch every minute of practice and, of course, the preseason. So, what do you think of this duo? Will they manage to secure a spot on the starting roster? And more. Will Owens' beliefs impact his journey in the NFL? Share your thoughts in the comments. And now the most anticipated part of the video, our analysis. This analysis is really incredible. Let's talk about a hot topic behind the scenes of the NFL. If you're excited to know how our team performed in the joint practice with the Jets, stick with me until the end of this video because we've got a lot of interesting and really exclusive stuff to show you. Did you know that the preseason is a crucial time for any NFL team? It's when players test their skills against real opponents, and coaches make the final adjustments before the regular season. And of course, it's during this time that we, the fans, start to feel that nervous excitement to see how the team is preparing for the battles ahead. Well, our Washington Commanders had one of these important tests recently when they traveled to Florham Park, New Jersey for a joint practice with the Jets. Now, before we dive into the details, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. That way, you won't miss any updates about the Commanders. And, of course, give us a like to help spread this exclusive analysis to other fans like you. Let's get straight to the point. Jayden Daniels, our rookie quarterback, was under the spotlight. This practice was his first real opportunity to face another defense, and not just any defense, but the Jets, which was one of the best in the NFL last year. And let me tell you, at first it looked like he was going to dominate. During the 7-on-7 drills, he showed impressive accuracy, connecting passes with Zach Ertz and Dyami Brown for significant gains. It was a promising start, the kind of performance that makes us think, have we finally found our QB of the future? But as we know, football is a game of ups and downs, and that initial euphoria didn't last long. When the practice moved to 11-on-11 drills with real pass pressure, Daniels started facing difficulties. With Washington's offensive line struggling, Daniels ended up making mistakes we hadn't seen before in the Ashburn practices. These were moments that reminded us that he's still a rookie with a lot to learn. Speaking of the offensive line, this is a point that really concerns me. Our line was shorthanded with 3 starters out, and it showed. Without Brandon Coleman, Sam Cosmi, and Andrew Wiley, protection for Daniels was, at best, precarious. During the practice, the team couldn't hold off the Jets' pressure, putting our rookie QB in tough situations. He was forced to make quick throws, often without proper positioning, which led to a worrying drop in performance. Let's be honest, one thing we all know is that a strong offensive line is the foundation of any successful offense. It doesn't matter how great your quarterback is if he doesn't have time to throw the ball. And with the season fast approaching, this is an issue we need to address urgently. The good news is that we're still in the preseason, so there's time for adjustments. But this is definitely an area that deserves our attention. Now on the topic of concerns, we can't overlook Emmanuel Forbes' performance. Those who followed the draft know there were certain expectations around our former first-round pick. He gained 17 pounds of muscle this offseason in an effort to become more competitive in the NFL. But against the Jets, and specifically against wide receiver Garrett Wilson, he struggled. Wilson managed to create significant separation and dominate at the catch point, something that was frustrating to watch, especially as we saw our player visibly disheartened during the practice. Of course, it's still early to draw definitive conclusions. Forbes is still adjusting to the NFL's pace, but these challenging moments are a reminder of the significant leap from college to the pros. Let's hope he uses these experiences to grow and become the player we're expecting. While the offensive line and secondary faced difficulties, not everything was bad for the Commanders. Our defensive line had its moments of brilliance. Frankie Louvu and Dorrance Armstrong managed to pressure the Jets' quarterback, showing that our front seven has the potential to be a force to be reckoned with this season. However, consistency is key. It's not enough to shine in one moment and disappear in another. If we want to have a solid defense, we need to maintain that pressure throughout the games. And here's an important reflection for all of us. While the front line showed its ability to create problems for the Jets' offense, the run defense is still lacking. The Jets' running back, Breece Hall, managed to break through our front seven with an ease that, frankly, isn't acceptable. If we really want to be competitive this season, this is an area that needs urgent attention. Throughout the practice, it was evident that the team still has a lot to adjust. The depth of the offensive line is a concern. The defense needs to improve its consistency, and our rookies, like Jayden Daniels and Emmanuel Forbes, are still finding their way. But as fans, we know that the preseason is a time for learning and growth. One point that deserves attention is how the coaching staff is handling these challenges. Ron Rivera, our head coach, is an NFL veteran, and we know he has the experience needed to make the necessary adjustments. But will he be able to solve these problems in time? That's a question on many fans' minds, especially considering our division is one of the most competitive in the league. So, what can we expect from the upcoming practices? Is it possible that Rivera and his staff will make significant changes to the offensive line? And what about Jayden Daniels? Will he be able to adapt to the pressures of the NFL and evolve in time to be the leader we need? These are questions only time will answer, but as fans, we can speculate and hope the solutions come quickly. Another important aspect to consider is how the defense is handling pressure. The defensive line showed potential, but the inconsistency is worrying. For a defense that aspires to be dominant, as we've seen in previous years, we need a more stable performance. The question is, will the Commanders be able to elevate their defensive game in time to face the offensive powerhouses coming up? Speaking of offensive powerhouses, we can't ignore the challenges that await in the regular season. Our division, the NFC East, is home to teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, both with explosive offenses. If we couldn't contain a team like the Jets in practice, how will we face these giants? The run defense, in particular, needs to solidify. The linebackers and defensive line will have to step up if we want to compete on equal footing. Back to the offense, the connection between Jaden Daniels and his receivers will be crucial. We saw flashes of brilliance during practice, but that needs to translate into consistency in games. Dyami Brown and Zach Ertz showed they have chemistry with Daniels, but that chemistry needs to be nurtured and strengthened in the practices to come. The evolution of this partnership will be a key point for the success of our offense. Another important point is the recovery of our injured players. With 3 of the 5 offensive line starters out in practice, it's essential that they're ready for the season. The return of Brandon Coleman, Sam Cosmi, and Andrew Wiley will be a relief, but the depth of the offensive line is still a concern. We need players capable of stepping up when necessary, something we haven't seen yet. As we near the end of the video, it's important to emphasize that despite the concerns, there's still a lot of optimism. This is a team in transition, with many new talents and a dedicated coaching staff. The difficulties faced in the joint practice with the Jets are, in part, expected and are part of the process of building a strong and cohesive team. The real question is, will we be able to turn these challenges into growth opportunities? And you, fan, what do you think? Which area of the team do you think needs the most attention? The offensive line, the run defense, or the development of our rookie quarterback? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with everything happening with the Washington Commanders. And if you liked the video, share it with other fans. See you in the next video with more exclusive analysis and news.